the happy brain chemicals that gets depleted during depression
Mhm.
is serotonin, about taking care of yourself on body, mind, and spirit. Just get rid of the guilt. Researching brain foods, specific to the brain, such as blueberries, understanding that food is medicine, like self-care is an indulgence. That is not true.
Welcome back to the Healing Train. What a journey it's been. Last season was full of truth, tears, breakthroughs, and deep connection. Thank you for showing up, for listening, and for being brave enough to heal with me. This season, we're going even deeper. Expect raw, honest conversations with guests from around the world, survivors, experts, healers, each bringing powerful stories and wisdom to remind you you're not alone and your healing matters. If you're carrying pain, confusion, or questions that feel too heavy to hold on your own, this space is for you. Take a breath, come as you are, and know this: healing isn't always pretty, but it's always worth it. And together, we'll keep moving, one stop at a time. So hop back on and let's ride. On the Healing Train today, we have with us a special guest, a dear friend of mine, Emmanuel Lopez, also known as Motivatorman. He is an award winning illustrator, author, speaker, movie blogger, content creator, host of High Notes Movie Club, self care influencer, and foodie. He has been featured in the New York Times, the Washington Post, the Globe and Mail, and CBC Radio. His first book, Movies for Motivation, is available on Amazon Kindle and features 55 films that helped him through years of clinical and seasonal depression. Emmanuel is currently developing his new self-care superhero venture to share his lived experiences, tips on how uplifting art, films, foods, and thrift store fashion finds empower people to cope with depression and difficult times. Emmanuel, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Emmanuel, I usually begin my episodes with a quotation. But for your particular episode, we're going to have two, because one I picked out of your book and one that you've chosen as well. So let me share mine first, then we'll go with yours. Okay?
Okay.
A quote from your book, Movies for Motivation: How to Stay Strong in Your Life and Career. And it's from chapter 2. You say, when you tap into a passion within you, it becomes the energy to maintain your perseverance and ability to stay strong no matter what. And I just love that quote, Emmanuel.
No,
Now,
thank you.
your quotation that you really liked as well, you would like to say, during the darkest times of my life, it was the magic of movies that reignited my passion, perseverance, and indestructible optimism to keep moving forward. And that's the gist of our episode today, which is tools and methods of how we rise above our struggles. And in your case, there was a diagnosis. But before I get into that, let me just say, like, wow, illustrator, published author, movie blogger, food lover and critic, and motivator man. But after motivator man, you're now looking into self-care superhero. I just love your terms.
Thank you so much.
Now, you got many titles and accomplishments, which I introduced in your biography and just now. But Emmanuel, let's get to know you, the human, the person behind all of that, the heart, the struggles, the pain. And my intention here is not to make you cry or get emotional. My intention is purely to honor you for being who you are and for the life that you lived so far, and to share with us your wisdom and lessons learned along your journey. Frankly, where else can you do that other than here on the Healing Train?
I'm glad to be aboard the train.
I'm happy too. Let's start from your journey of depression, a diagnosed mental health challenge, I like to refer to it. What has been your personal journey navigating and healing from this diagnosis?
Wow. I mean, that is such a loaded question. And the journey is, been a long one. And it's actually been longer than I've been conscious of, or when I was actually diagnosed with clinical depression. That was, and there was two. I was diagnosed officially in 2015 with clinical depression. And then in 2019, I was diagnosed with what I've always felt I've had, which is seasonal affective disorder, also known as winter depression, seasonal depression. Something that I've been able to look back at since my high school years, where the fall and winter started to become mentally painful,
Mhm.
and a lot of it is brain fog. A lot of it is feeling hopeless
Mhm.
for no reason at all, losing my drive for life.
If I may, Emmanuel,
Yeah,
just
go ahead.
to clarify for those who don't know, because anyone could be listening to this or watching this from anywhere in the world, we are located in Toronto, Canada. So if you don't know what the winter is like here, now you may understand because everyone is thinking, well, the winter isn't so bad here or the fall isn't so bad here based on where your location is. But where we are, it's a whole different ball game. And as we go through the years, the weather keeps on changing. I just want to put into context what you are talking about as far as weather is concerned.
Yeah, then that's a really good point, Rania, because it's more than just the cold weather, it's the compression of energy that my body and mind feels. And it happens like for about 6 months. So it's like I lose 6 months of normal life, starting even as early as September. And even now, I'm supposed to be out of it,
Mm,
but there are some relapses.
mm,
Now, I'm not the only one. I mean, there's just hundreds of people undiagnosed that struggle,
mm,
and they're not even aware of it. They just know that they're not able to concentrate. It's now winter time.
mhm,
They just feel it's the blues.
mhm,
But my journey has been, how do I learn to heal? How
mhm,
do, despite what doctors say,
mhm,
that you're going to suffer, my journey is no. I listen to my body. My body and spirit is saying, I can learn how to cope with
mhm.
this.
Now, going back to your story of how you were diagnosed and you made a decision, you're not gonna let this take over you. Were there pivotal moments or realizations that shifted that perspective for you specifically?
Yes, I think it was just getting out of my own way. Now, group therapy
Mm,
and just talking to a doctor, a specialist about mental health was something that I refused to do for many years. And it was mainly because I had stigma about it.
mm,
I felt that, I can cure this myself. I negated on traditional therapy
mhm,
that I found to be absolutely powerful.
mhm,
After many friends and family were saying that I needed to do it, it took me years, but when I finally checked myself in,
mhm,
um, it was, and it's a place called CAMH here in Toronto. That was in 2015.
mhm,
I thought I was going to be diagnosed with seasonal affective disorder,
mhm,
but I wasn't. It was a different type of depression called dysthymia.
okay.
And immediately I was put on medication, but also cognitive behavioral therapy,
Mm,
which was pivotal to
mm,
answer your question. So was it was basically a program,
mm,
a group therapy program, and group is important. It's not just one-on-one with a doctor.
mhm,
You had several doctors for several weeks. I believe it was 24 weeks, and it was fantastic because I was
mm,
around people. The thing about depression is it's very isolating,
mm,
And so I knew I needed to get out. Again, this is before the pandemic. Going once a week somewhere to undergo training, understanding cognitive behavioral therapy,
Mm,
how to reframe my thinking,
mm,
how to break out of the ruminating negative thoughts
mm.
was what I was being taught. Up until then, movies were my tool to help me break out of those negative ruminating thoughts. So,
I was actually just about to ask you, other than the therapy that you were doing, what other approaches or techniques that you personally tried out, saw it worked for you to the point that you started advocating and sharing it with the world
yeah.
to help them also in their journeys? Please do share with us all of the
Oh,
techniques
sure,
that
yeah.
you have.
Well, we'll start with movies because movies is my passion. So that's why those quotes that you shared was really important for people to understand that passion is really something, being aware of something you love. Because when I was in a state of depression, all the self-help, motivational
Mm,
talks, even even just things that remind me of like how to get out of depression
mm.
gets obliterated. Like I'm in brain fog.
It's like through one ear out the next.
Yeah, and I can't access those memories
Mm,
now somehow movies is hardwired into me
mm,
as an enjoyable activity.
mhm,
um, let's talk about The Sound of Music, because The Sound of Music is one of my favorite films as a child and even now. And yes, I do remember a lot of the songs
yeah.
by heart. And one of them is My Favorite Things. Now, My
Okay.
Favorite Things actually um, talks about, when you're feeling sad, is to remember your favorite things. And the whole song is just listing a whole bunch of um, topics that I was ingrained into me as a child. So movies was one of those things. It was that I can default to watching movies when I'm feeling hopeless. And the year 2000 was the most difficult year. Like just multiple, I'm going to say quotation failures in my illustration business had compounded by the year 2000. I was in a year-long depression.
Mm,
I couldn't get out of bed, felt had no purpose.
mm,
But I'll always remember one of my favorite movies, Groundhog Day,
mm,
came on the television while I was feeling catatonic.
mhm,
And I had seen it several times. I've loved it so much
mhm,
over the years as a comedy, as a romantic comedy.
mhm,
But now it was saving my life because the scene I identified with
mhm,
was Phil Connors, played by Bill Murray. He's realizing he's caught in this time loop and he's lying in bed
mhm,
completely depressed. And it was a mirror, like it was this incredible mirror for me.
mm,
And it touched my heart so deeply that it opened up my spirit to receive the lessons that this movie had all these years before. But now it was speaking to me.
mhm,
It was saying, like surrender.
mm,
Think outside of yourself, start doing good things for other people, which is what Phil Connors in the movie starts to focus on. He starts to improve himself. He starts to read books and enjoy time by himself. He learns how to play the piano. He learns how to ice sculpt. So that movie became my guide, my self-care
mm.
tool to this day. So 25 years later, like it is, I still learn something from
Oh my goodness, you're absolutely right. I have recollection of some movies myself. I'm just not as good in remembering names and actors and all of that, but I remember the overall feeling that particular movie provided at a certain phase in my life, right? And I do believe that movies can have a great influence on us, generally speaking, on our mood momentarily, and make us think
Yes.
about our life being a mirror, like you said, right? I've
Yeah.
I've found that several times in watching a series or a particular movie, and I felt that that was me,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
then seeing the inspiration of how they handled something, you're like, I can do that too. Like, I can.
Yeah.
Or you see how not to do it.
Yes. Yeah. Movies can also show you, uh, they're like alternate realities that you can follow. Well, there's a movie that I want to bring up
Mm,
that talks about the benefits of showing like the negatives,
mhm,
because yes, it'll show you the negatives about um, what you don't want, but
mhm,
it'll also show you positives of what you
mhm,
you can have. One of my favorites that really pulled me out of suicidal depression,
mhm,
and it's from Disney, and it's called Tomorrowland. George Clooney is in it, and it's actually based on the classic Tomorrowland ride and the pavilion area of Disneyland
mhm,
and Disney World. Now, the movie, why it's so brilliant
mhm,
is that they have the idea, and this isn't really a spoiler, but I hope it gets people to watch it, is that there's two worlds,
mhm,
right? There's the current world
mhm,
where you see violence or just horrible things on the planet, and then there's Tomorrowland, which is kind of like a parallel universe
mhm,
where it's beautiful, it's futuristic. You have jetpacks,
mhm,
flying cars, and just peace among like all cultures, bright colors, and the idea is that this young girl gets invited to to see this place,
mhm,
and experience it, and try to tell the people
mhm.
of this world, like the
Yeah,
current world,
yeah,
that they are creating
yeah,
a terrible world.
yeah.
And so she has this quote in this film. It says, "There are two wolves. One is darkness and despair, and the other one is light and happiness.
Mm,
Which one do you feed?"
right. Oh my
And
God, that line alone can have several meanings. You can take it literally,
yeah,
right?
yes, yeah,
Or you
yeah,
can look at it as a metaphor and see how it could apply in everything in our life.
yeah. I'm glad you like it. It's to
I
hear
can't
that.
believe I never watched that movie. Now I'm gonna have to watch it.
Well, it's wonderful because she's actually telling that to reminding her father, who's older, like, so she's younger and she's wiser. And if you really watch the film, this is why I love watching films over and over again. You
Mm,
actually see there's all these billboards around, and they're promoting movies
mm,
that are like destruction,
mm, mm,
right?
mm.
And so it's the whole movie is actually saying that 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 the current world,
Yeah.
our world,
Yep.
we're amplifying it
Yep.
if we're focusing on the negatives.
We're feeding it. Yep. Yep.
Yeah. So this is again, why I love the term indestructible optimism. Like that's
Right.
what I've learned for myself is that's my superhero power, indestructible optimism.
Hmm.
And I think that wonderful metaphor is like, are you a half glass empty
Mm.
or half glass full kind of person?
Yep.
Because
You
that's
choose.
that's
You choose
optimism.
what you want to the world you want to live in, the
Yeah.
empty or the full.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I mean, we can talk more about movies. It can never end, but
Yeah.
that is one technique and one approach that you resonated with and has helped you personally, and you advocate for people to
Absolutely.
try to connect to it. Maybe they never thought about it.
Mhm.
Maybe they were always a film lover, a movie lover, but never drew the connection
Yeah.
between what they're watching and how it could influence them or affects their moods
Mhm.
or how they think about it for their life. So that's a
Yeah.
great tip. I hope people out there can start using. All right, what's your next tip? I'm excited to know the next one.
Well, it's food.
Yes, I knew it. I knew
Food.
it.
Because I divide it into two categories, my passion for food. So there's comfort food, right? So it's not, may not be necessarily healthy, but
Are we
uh,
talking ice cream here?
we're talking about ice cream, chocolate. For me, it's bacon and eggs. It's like, because
Oh,
it's more than just the taste. It's the sight, it's the smell, the smell and the sound. The crisp. It's all activating.
okay.
My senses.
You're
Uh,
eating with all of your senses, huh?
exactly,
You
and
weren't
we'll
kidding
talk.
when you said I'm a food lover. That's what a food lover is.
Exactly. And we'll talk about the science behind that.
Okay.
The other part is what I call it simply the nutritious and delicious foods. So
Mm.
these are the ones where I've learned to cope successfully with
Mhm.
clinical depression and also seasonal affective disorder using food as medicine. In other
Mm.
words, researching brain foods, specific to the brain, such as blueberries, and recently protein, savory protein in the morning was necessary. I was protein deficient because the brain needs a certain amount of savory protein. And savory protein, eggs, red meat, and it's just like a sudden boost. It's like sweets
Mhm.
aren't counted. I mean, I even have like smoothies in the morning.
Mhm.
It's like oat milk. The basics are oat milk, either bananas,
Mhm.
strawberries, or blueberries, plus supplements. That actually doesn't work in terms of like protein. Like that's actually helping, but
Right.
not in the immediate. So
Right.
this is just a tip that in the morning it's important to get some savory protein
Mhm.
in the morning. And it's like it's delicious. I make sure it's delicious and nutritious because it's like people say, oh, they don't want to do it because it doesn't taste good. It says, no, you can make it taste good if you want.
Yeah. So it's more than just enjoying the taste of a particular meal or food item.
Yeah.
Exactly what you said is the science behind it, understanding what each item has that
Yeah.
gives you the benefit to help you in the condition that you're in. And it's about perhaps changing your lifestyle altogether. If you've
That's
been used to eating in a certain way in certain times and frequencies, taking a
that's
good
exactly it.
look at what you've been doing and making changes intentionally
That's a,
by doing the research, you could honestly work on healing something as big as a depression or a seasonal disorder or whatever it is you're being diagnosed with. Am I correct?
you are. You actually said a key word that I hope we say more often because intention is is exactly the key, probably the number one point in terms of moving out of depression
Mm.
is like I said, like my intention was I can heal this. I can heal myself.
Mm.
I
Mm.
can do it without medical prescriptions.
Mhm.
Um, with comfort food, it's like comfort food on one side, okay,
Mhm.
may not be the greatest, but the intention I made is to balance that because I'm
Mhm.
not going to give up chocolate.
Yeah.
And but at the same time, it's like, okay, savory proteins, brain foods, adding more fruits and vegetables um, is on this hand. So it's a balance.
Yeah.
It's a very Buddhist way, right,
Yeah.
of seeing life. And so um, because honestly, it's like bacon is very greasy, and it's like there might be vegetarians out there, but I will have bacon, but also I love tofu bacon. I love tofu chicken. It's like wow. I went wow. This tastes pretty good. This tofu chicken.
Mhm.
Or even like tofu scrambled eggs. I love it all. I
I
just have to find a balance.
I really think the key here is to allow yourself to try something different.
Yes.
Because if you don't give yourself permission to give something new a try without judging it, prejudging it, that,
Yes.
oh, it's probably not going to taste good, or, oh, I'm probably not going to like it. How do you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
May I, may,
Or if I make that change, that I'm not gonna enjoy food anymore. Like you decide, it's almost like you make a decision that you're not gonna enjoy food if you were to make those little changes because you think it's too much to change, or that
yes.
you're because a habit. It's been a habit for however long you've been doing it. You're used to it, and it gave you that comfort
Yes.
of whatever it is it was giving you, but it was also not helping you in other ways. So if you really
Yeah.
want to take charge and power of your health, of your mood, of whatever it is, then you got to make that decision to make yourself a little uncomfortable, to try
Yeah.
something new and see what the result is. Maybe you'll like it.
Yeah.
Maybe you will love it. Maybe
Yes.
you will say, where has this been all my life? Why didn't I make this change sooner? Right?
Yeah, may I share an
Yeah.
example of what you just said? You also said something very key, habit, changing habits, because this is the gift. This is the gift of depression. This is the gift of difficult times that people go through, is that there's there is an opportunity. Again, the optimism, what is the silver lining of their problems
Mm,
is that this is a chance to change habits of thinking.
mm,
Now, one example I wanted to share,
mhm.
which blows my mind because I used to hate sauerkraut. Like I hated the taste of it. I hated
I
it.
actually don't like it. I have to
Yeah,
admit, I don't like it.
yeah. Now, during the pandemic, and this is key to another shift in my consciousness and taking care of myself,
Mhm,
is with through food. One of the happy brain chemicals that gets depleted during depression
mhm.
is serotonin.
Okay.
So serotonin is actually produced almost between 90 to 95% in the gut. So when I found that out, I went, hmm, okay, how can I improve my gut health? Because sometimes I actually get stomach aches and probiotics came
Mhm,
up. It was all about like healthy bacteria
mhm,
that is necessary in the gut to help produce the serotonin um, that gets sent into the brain
mhm.
to help you feel better, feel positive, and fermented foods came up. And I saw the list. I said, okay, yogurt. I'm not a big fan, but okay. There's kimchi. No, I don't like kimchi. It's way too spicy. But then raw sauerkraut came up, and I went, raw sauerkraut. Why raw sauerkraut? And then I found out that all the sauerkraut I used to eat growing up, that's mostly in like the supermarkets, is fake sauerkraut.
Oh,
It's not alive. That's why it doesn't taste good. It's more vinegary.
yeah.
Raw sauerkraut is so delicious that I could like just have forkfuls along with Polish sausages or like I just have it now as an accompaniment because
Mhm,
I found out that at least two forkfuls of raw sauerkraut
mhm.
a day is more than the expensive probiotics that you can buy at health food stores.
Wow.
So, and because I was going through a period of my life where my financial health was just so poor, I found a great brand. I'm just going to say it. I don't get paid, but Carthian's raw sauerkraut changed my life during the pandemic. Pierogies. Oh my God, I have it with pierogies. And I found out that sour cream also has a certain amount of probiotics. So I
Mm,
can tell you, Rania, that this habit of thinking changed. I now have my fridge. I have some raw sauerkraut.
mhm,
I don't have it every day. I
mhm,
listen to my body.
mhm,
I haven't had it for like over a year, but recently my body was saying, you know what? Okay, it's time. We need some healthy bacteria. It's like all these, it's like a little
mm.
community of all these alive beings in my stomach that I now have a relationship with. It's just like, I even talk to them. Like, say, hey, you guys, you know that classic children's Dr. Seuss cartoon,
Okay.
Horton Hears a Who, where the elephant is like, finds this living community, tiny, tiny dust speck. So that's what
Mm,
it's about my relationship with my body. That's what's been curing me
yeah.
is just thanking my gut,
Mhm,
thanking the raw sauerkraut,
mhm,
but also thanking myself,
mm,
for saying, you know what, my intention is to change my old habits of thinking and discover something new that's going to help me become a stronger person
mm.
on
I
multiple
love
levels.
that. Oh,
And this is what I love sharing. This is why I'm hoping somebody's listening, I'm sure, to us right now and just going, oh, I'm going to try some raw sauerkraut.
I think I'm gonna give it another try too now. You've
Okay.
kind of convinced me because I've tried the one in the bottle with the vinegar, and I'm not a big fan of anything vinegary. Not
No,
me.
it's dead.
So
It's
I
dead
might
food.
give it a try, and I'll let you
Yeah.
know.
You will love it because I think you love life and live foods is is what we're meant to eat.
Hmm. Hmm. Again, it's what we've been introduced to. So we're gonna make our judgment based
Yes.
on what was made available to us. And if that's all I knew, I made the judgment based on that, Now, provide me with something different. Okay, I'll give it a try and then I'll see.
Yeah.
Right. All right. So we've covered movies, we've covered food. Another approach you got? Another trick up your sleeve?
I do. And it's funny because thrift shopping, especially during the pandemic, really helped my boost my mood. For anyone out there that loves um, shopping, and especially fashion shopping, it's you feel good. When you discover something, shoes, jackets, clothes. For me, it was instantaneous, especially when I was feeling suicidal or like it was just so dark when the depression symptoms hit. And if I'm able to pull myself out, that's number one, pulling myself out into fresh air. Like that's number one. Number two, getting to a location where it's almost like an energy recharging area. So Value Village, Salvation Army thrift stores, uh, were fantastic, especially during the pandemic. There were moments when I'd be in the aisleways and I would feel so much joy because I was about to start a treasure hunt. So it was like tapping into this inner child, this happy inner child of like, I love treasure hunts, like Easter's coming up. So it's like Easter egg hunts. And to be able to find something I felt that was meant for me to find was another level of boosting my mood. It's like the serotonin was starting to flow. And actually, it's more dopamine. So that's another happy brain chemical because dopamine is like a rewards chemical that gets triggered. It's like I get rewarded for like, I found it. I found this perfect shirt. I'm happy to share that this is one of my beautiful thrift store finds.
Nice. Love it.
They're practically brand new. Um, and then another level of the mood boosting and the dopamine is the deal. Like I love good deals.
Yep.
When I'm a millionaire and a billionaire, I'll still enjoy a good deal. So for people who are struggling financially, Value Village, for instance, and again, I don't get paid for this right now. I'm just sharing that they will have coupons, 20% off or $2 off if you donate clothes. So you can use that to even lower the costs.
So
If
you're
you're
doing something for a good cause where there's something in your closet that you don't want anymore. You would go, you would donate it, get the coupon, go in there and find something and get a discount for it.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm going to add something quickly to that is is that I love that I'm helping the environment as well through thrifting.
Yeah, because it's the cycle,
It's
right?
like what you said, recycling. That's why I love it. Um, Films, food, thrift shopping. I haven't had coffee, and I'm already feeling like a little caffeinated, a little jumpy right now
And
because I'll share
excitement, yeah.
one more thrift find that I love.
A brief stop at a station. Those of you who ended a toxic relationship, share with someone who will benefit from your experience. We are here to support each other. What happened after you stood up to yourself, called them out, or maybe broke up and left them? Did they act surprised like they never abused you? Hoovered, tried to get you back? Fake apologies? Fake promises to change and be better if you just give them one more chance? Or did they cut you out like you never existed? Tried to ruin your image and reputation? Made up lies to anyone who would listen in your circle? Or maybe found the next victim to replace you in a jiffy? Share your story. What did you do? How did you feel? How did you get yourself out? What gave you the courage to stand up to yourself and take action to save yourself? What were your main struggles? What was the most difficult thing you had to overcome after you left them? Send a voice note recording up to 5 minutes answering these questions, which will be in the description in the notes. Telling your story with the intention to help others in their journey of reclaiming back their power and healing. Send to guest@healingtrain.ca. Stay tuned for this special episode. Be ready to listen to inspiring and life-altering stories, real, raw, and remarkable. You don't want to miss this journey on the healing train. This show is proudly sponsored by Say It Out Loud GG, led by the inspiring Judith Diaz, an avid change maker and passionate advocate for speaking up and raising awareness. The Healing Train podcast is honored to have her support. Now let's get back to the show.
And messenger bags, vintage messenger bags, have been my passion. I have found, and I don't know why, I just know that when I put it on and I'm wearing like clothes that make me feel like $1,000,000,
Yeah.
like it boosts my self-esteem,
Yeah.
self-confidence,
Yeah.
my self-worth. And that's why I take lots of photos, like literally like in the
Yes,
mirror,
I'm
in
one of those
advance.
liking your photos, so don't
Yeah.
forget.
And that's what I share, on my social media,
Yeah.
is to be able to show people like just to maybe capture that self-esteem boost, that self-confidence,
Mm.
with something, a vintage messenger bag that I feel maybe you're helping me realize the meaning behind it because I haven't analyzed it. But these vintage bags have a story in themselves. They've been on a journey with somebody else.
Yeah.
Now I found it, and I'm going to take it on a further journey
Mhm.
because I travel, always with these bags, and 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 some of these bags I only pay $12 or $15.
Mm.
And then I find out online, I research them and went, oh my God, this brand, this is worth over $350.
And by
So
the time you bought it, you didn't know it was worth that
no,
much. You just thought it looked nice, it was a good deal, and I like it.
exactly. So that's just,
Yeah.
again, it's
Yeah.
bragging rights, right? It's dopamine.
You're
It's
entitled
my
to it. You're right.
dopamine, you know?
No, definitely. Thank you for sharing. You see, when I'm listening to you talk here, Emmanuel, sharing your tips and your techniques that helped you in overcoming, coping, and now moved on from just surviving to actually thriving, right? I love that.
Thank you.
But what I'm noticing here is these are really ordinary things you're talking about that every single person that is alive today experiences them. Who
Yes.
hasn't watched
Yeah.
a movie? Who isn't eating? Who isn't buying clothes? These are three things that we all do. It
Yes.
is changing our perception about them and allowing them to do the magic in our lives that can make all the difference.
Yes. Yes. So that's so well put. Being conscious. I think that's the thing. The universe, God, your spirit guides, your
Yeah.
guardian angels are asking you to wake up, to
Yeah.
be more aware that you have the power to change the current circumstances, no matter how dark things are. That's an illusion. It's those little tiny joys in everybody's lives that are their personal self-care tools and methods and strategies that could instantly lift them out of like hopeless moments.
Mhm. These are the three that you wanted to share with us today. The three that had the greatest impact in your own journey,
Yes.
right? And you're using them as the self care, right? The self care methods, approaches.
Yes.
There was something I wanted to refer to you being called the motivator man for the longest time. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
So, on one hand, you're the motivator man. And on the other hand, you are sharing your personal struggles with seasonal depression, clinical depression, whatever the diagnosis is, which I really don't care about the diagnosis because it's all, sorry to say, but BS to me because at the end of the day, we're in charge of whatever is happening to us. So I don't even want to go there,
Right.
right? It's just a term. Again, it's you being a motivator man, you having these struggles, and you're being seen as a motivator man, but yet you're an influencer for these techniques.
Yeah.
How do you balance the authenticity with the expectations of being an influencer? Let me rephrase that.
Yeah.
People tend to have an idea that an influencer is perfect. So they're looking for someone who's perfect to copy them, to influence them. You must be perfect. That's why I'm going to follow you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? But what you're doing is the exact opposite. You're showing your vulnerability, your struggles, your challenges
Thank you. Yeah.
out in the front, like, hey, this is what I'm dealing with. And then you call yourself Motivator Man. So please, I think you
Yeah.
understand where I'm going with this.
Yeah,
Go for it.
I think I do because it's really interesting. First of all, Motivator Man is it's my superhero name. And it's also just much more simpler to have that as like my website name, right?
Okay.
It's easy to remember. But I also feel it. Now, influencers, it's so interesting because, well, first of all, like Motivator Man was also because I do motivational speaking,
Okay.
traditionally, being in front of yeah, an audience
Mhm.
and being able to show off like me.
Yeah.
I'm Emmanuel Lopez, but I'm also a motivational speaker and
Right.
motivator man. For me, it's there's no difference between that and the term influencer. And it's interesting because I've been able to, especially during the pandemic, and it's interesting because it's like several years since the pandemic, but because we're all isolated, we could only stay connected online.
Mhm.
Influencers began to thrive.
Mm.
And I always thought influencers are the same as motivators. The only difference now is, like you said, influencers at first were projecting perfection to the
Mm.
point where they would use filters
Yeah.
to clean up the face, and be like absolutely perfect. And then every post and every video has to be perfect. And I'm so happy that that's changing now. Actors, who I'm going to try to pronounce her name, um, Amanda Siegfried. She's blonde actress, and other ones like um, anyways, there's so many that
Yeah.
are on Instagram, on TikTok, and they don't wear makeup.
Right. Well, they're
And
sending
it's
out a
just,
message. They're trying to influence people by saying beauty has nothing to do with the makeup you put on.
yeah, and it's the authenticity that you're talking about.
Yeah.
Is no matter what, that was my intention. I was going to be as authentic as possible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
So
and
standing there on stage, being a motivator,
yeah,
doesn't mean that your life is perfect and you have everything figured out, because
yeah,
that's what society is trying to impose. There are those people who are totally unconscious, expecting motivator person or a leader to be perfect when that's not the case.
yeah,
It has nothing to do with perfection. I can lead and have imperfections. I
yes,
can lead and still be learning myself. I'm a human being at the end of the day. I can be a
yes.
motivator man and have struggles.
Yeah, exactly. May I share a story with you
Please do.
about being authentic to the point that surprised me?
Okay.
I remember there was just a memorable motivational talk I gave to a human resource organization here in Toronto, and I was really struggling with depression.
Mm.
And it happens sometimes.
Mhm.
It's these speaking gigs are booked
In
weeks, months
advance.
in
Yeah.
advance, and it's like no matter what,
Yeah.
uh, I'm gonna be there.
Rain
Uh,
or shine. And then we're talking not weather right now, we're talking about the internal weather. Rain or
exactly,
shine going on within you, you're showing up.
exactly. So here I am. First of all, I'm gonna say that I'm a classic introvert. Okay, it may not sound like it, but there are people who are introverts but have extroverted jobs
Right.
where I can get energized by both. So when I'm in front of the audience, something internally kicks in
Hmm.
that I can get through it, and people won't even know
Hmm.
I'm dealing with seasonal depression
Hmm.
or clinical depression. And so I know I aced that talk. Like I gave a talk for 45 minutes, and great feedback from everyone. But then at the very end, I told the audience, told them about my clinical depression and my self-care tools,
Yeah.
but I revealed that I was actually depressed throughout that whole 45 minutes. I had the depression symptoms in my body, but my energy was projecting strength. Now that was both
Counteracted those symptoms you're talking about. It counteracted it.
it it's going to sound like a paradox because you're helping me explain this even better. That yeah, the symptoms were alleviated, but they were still there. The heaviness was still there in my body. It's a form of paralysis. It's actually called, and again, everyone's going to have different levels of depression symptoms. It's a horrible sounding name, psychomotor retardation. So I was still feeling that, but it's almost like my spirit was kicking in, so I can still like express myself. Like I mean, there might be like even now, I might not like I could have depression, but it wouldn't be projected. Thankfully, I'm not. I feel fantastic today.
Great. I'm so happy to hear.
Yeah, but it the looks on people's faces when
Yeah.
I revealed that
Yeah.
I had the depression symptoms
Yeah.
connected me. Like suddenly your eyes locked on a new level. It's like I touched somebody's heart who was also going through something difficult. And it's like I gave them hope that like wow, if this man is behaving
Mhm.
like he's strong,
Mhm.
then while suffering,
Yeah.
then I could do it too. Like that's what it felt like. I turned on a question inside people. That was one of the most wonderful, authentic moments, and in public. And so I continue to be as authentic as possible, whether it's on social media or live with my talks
Or with your writings. Yeah.
and my writings. Yes,
Mhm.
thank you. Yeah, because writing is one of my passions as well. So
Well, Emmanuel, thank you for first of all for sharing that beautiful story. And you didn't have to share that with your audience when you were making that talk. You didn't have to. Nothing obligated you to do it. You chose to do it
yes,
because exactly you wanted to leave an impact, not knowing who's going to leave an impact on or the level of impact. You just felt called and you followed that calling to share it, knowing that this may make a difference. And that's it. And you let it go,
yeah,
right? And it took a level of awareness on your part
hmm
of knowing that you are experiencing those symptoms, we'll call them, of depression that you are familiar with, but yet you rise above that and
yes,
you knew what you could do and you allowed your energy and that strength inside you, the superhero motivator man, to come out
yes,
and do what it needs to do for the betterment of all, for the world that we live in, because that's what we're here for, to serve.
yes. Oh, beautifully said. That was beautiful. I love it. I do want to, because there are more happy brain chemicals. Again, more the science behind what I talked about, and oxytocin, which is the love. It's called a love hormone. Okay, which I
Okay.
love, is part of that social connection that I had with the audience.
Hmm.
It's like because there was a sense of love there. I've never met these people,
Yeah.
but
And you're
oxytocin.
probably never going to see them again.
Well, ironically, I
Oh,
actually got
oh,
contacted.
okay. Do
I
tell.
got contacted by an HR person who might have been in that talk after, like that was 2015, so we're talking 10 years. Okay, I,
Yeah.
I just got a message, and I'm actually going to find out if she's from that.
Okay.
But again, making it was this oxytocin, it was this love hormone that was flowing through me to feel good because of other people. Now, oxytocin also is about, it's like holding hands with somebody, hugging. I'm a big hugger,
Mm,
so
mm,
that's why the oxytocin was very low during the pandemic because I was living alone,
mm,
and and a lot of people, if they wanted to understand why they were feeling more depressed than usual, if
mm.
during the pandemic, is because the oxytocin was very low. The physical touch is really, really important. Physical connection. Anyway, so I just wanted to share that
Yeah, no,
oxytocin is,
I love that you shared about hormones and how they have a great impact on our mood, on our health, on our eating, like our appetite and
yes,
depression, whatnot. So now you discussed three:
yeah,
serotonin, dopamine, and
yeah,
oxytocin.
Yes.
Any other hormones that we need to know about that you
Oh,
might want to share
there
here? Or
is.
just
There's
oh, oh, there's more.
it's
There's
the
more.
four. There was the four. Yeah, there it's like really it's almost like the classic four happy chemicals. And endorphins, ironically, is the first one that I understood years ago because it's connected to chocolate. It's that, and it's mostly dark chocolate. Endorphins is also referred to as a painkiller. Going for a run, essential oils, exercising, especially just when you push yourself exercising and you start to get into this euphoric state of mind. That's endorphins. Like it's just this blissful state. I'm actually creating infographics for my new project, Self Care Superhero. There's a lot of infographics for happy brain chemicals, but I'm inspired to actually do my own, design my own, because of my background as an illustrator.
Mm-hmm.
So those four will be part of it, and I'm just so glad I could share it with you. I'm glad that you brought up there's one more, four. There's four
Yeah,
altogether.
I just like the scientific part that we're bringing into this conversation because it makes it more real. We're not just talking whatever empty talk here.
Yeah,
There's science to back up everything. The same way how you explain certain foods have certain benefits to how this is for the brain, this is for the gut, this is, so there is science behind what we're talking about here. It's not just empty talk. That's the whole point I'm trying to say.
yeah,
Thank you for bringing up your self-care uh, journey superhero that you're starting, because I'd love for you
yes.
now to talk about that. That is the perfect time for you to introduce this to us.
Wow, yes. Well, this is and I'm honored, on your show. I'm sharing this. And yeah, so Self-Care Superhero was growing during the pandemic in terms of the term because it was about that I was learning what I was learning and during this time was only able to share my food and mood tips, my film tips through social media. And I kept thinking, like if I can help people bring this out of other people, to that self-care superhero is inside everybody, then I feel that that's my mission. Self-care superhero is it's like an umbrella term where I can share these uplifting photos of my thrift store fashion finds
Mm-hmm.
to inspire people, or the delicious foods that I'm learning to cook that are good for brain health, and share my photography in general. I want to be able to do that. And speaking of photography, I'm just going to throw this in there.
Mm-hmm.
I take photos of dimes that I find, 10-cent pieces, because part of that long 1 year depression I experienced in 2000 was because of the passing of my father unexpectedly at Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And since then, whenever I felt down or depressed, I'd find shiny dimes. And I knew in my spirit that was from my dad in heaven.
Mm-hmm.
I just knew it. I
Mm-hmm.
couldn't explain it. So for years, I took photos of these dimes wherever I find them. I still find them. But these are beautiful, almost abstract images
Mm-hmm.
of like close-ups of dimes with and some of them are rusted. And sometimes those become a mirror for like the damage I feel I go through with depression.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, it represents hope and joy that a loved one, my dad, is still on some level alive. Like he's my guardian angel.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
these photos, I want to be able to share. And I'm going to share these photos in book form or whatever to help other people grieving, to help them tap into their self-care superhero methods, to believe, like if they're feeling so down because they've lost a loved one, that they'll see these photos, dad's dimes, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Add more to that, to the self-care superhero. Film tips as well, because I've been writing an award-winning blog for many years, and I have so many tips. Not too many people know that my first book is on Amazon Kindle. It's an ebook called, as you mentioned, Movies for Motivation, and it's my top 55 films that helped me through depression. Basically, it's going to be a new vehicle online to have digital products, to have physical products like the books for people around the world to be able to access all of these different titles of what I do, coming together, empower people, to help re-energize their hope, joy, as I said earlier, indestructible optimism.
Mm, mm.
That's my
Well,
mission.
definitely people need to be following you, and all of the information of how to get in touch with you, your website, and all of that will be in the description. So please do
Great.
connect with Emmanuel and see what he's up to and what new ventures he's going on, because it's very inspiring. You
Yeah.
are an inspiration to many people out there,
Thank you so
and
much.
you sharing your story and being vulnerable. Emmanuel, I want to discuss with you one very important aspect about self-care. There are misconceptions about it. Can you share a few so we can tackle them with those who believe them
Yes.
and
Yeah.
poke holes in those misconceptions?
Yes. Anytime the word self is put in, like self-care, self-love,
Mm,
which are very close, self-care and self-love. And I have to admit, it could be my upbringing too, is that I thought initially that it's something selfish, you know? And that is not true. Again, it's all about perception and just creating a new habit of belief that self-care is probably and self-love is probably the most important terms anyone can learn. In fact, I'm just having this insight now that those terms need to be taught at an early age,
mm,
in school by parents, that it's okay, that it's more than just pampering yourself. I might initially have thought, and I would think more a female pampering,
mm,
right? It's like going to a spa
mm,
or getting your nails done,
mm,
and someone might see that as like an indulgence,
mm,
like self-care is an indulgence.
mm,
I think that is just it's a misconception,
mm,
and that like self-care really is about taking care of yourself on body, mind, and spirit.
mm,
And if taking care of your nails or fashion shopping therapy, right, or dark chocolate or ice cream, like you said,
mm.
is part of your self-care, then just get rid of the guilt. There's no guilt.
I
That's
love that. Get rid of the guilt. Oh,
Yeah, that's the misconception of self-care.
mm.
Yeah, it's any negative thought that's connected to self-care or self-love needs to be banished. Has to be like,
Well,
that's it.
sometimes it's not as easy as that, Emmanuel, because it's ingrained, it's been taught down generation after generation. So I would say let's begin by questioning,
Yeah,
where did this belief come from?
yeah. That very good. And that always comes
Let's
down
just
to
start from
childhood.
questioning.
Yeah. And I want to share something that is a whole other topic. But when you said that about where that came from, it's usually like childhood. So what I learned, and we hadn't touched on this, is that well, we did in terms of like the group therapy and in cognitive behavioral therapy,
Yep,
is that a lot of the new habits that I've I've taught myself,
yep,
I had to heal a wounded inner child
yep,
inside. And so that's where the cognitive behavioral therapy started to come, where it starts to reframe the
yep.
negative thinking and find out, oh my God, that's from my childhood. And in the ongoing group therapy that I continue with since the pandemic, I was so grateful. I was praying that there was something on Zoom.
Mm,
And I was so happy that Mount Sinai Hospital here in Toronto
mm.
started up a group therapy once a week. And so that was during the pandemic, and it's now like since 2020. It's 5 years later. I'm still doing it because, to add to what you said, the deprogramming
Mhm,
of these old habits,
mhm,
it takes practice. So
mhm,
once a week for 90 minutes, I work with other people to
mhm,
help reframe,
mhm,
heal, and it's an ongoing journey. And
mhm.
I I now enjoy the journey. And I
Mhm.
have no this is me being authentic, that yes, I'm still getting therapeutic help.
Yeah.
Like it's part of my lifestyle.
There's no guilt in it and there's no shame in it.
No, I enjoy it.
Because
Look at
as we
me.
said earlier, we're not perfect
Yeah,
in that sense, anyways. I mean, we are perfect human beings because we're created
yeah,
as the creator's image and likeness.
yeah,
But putting that on the side, as human beings, we're continuously learning. And
Yeah.
as the Course in Miracles says, as we teach, we learn.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. Okay. That's good. I like that.
If you've never read A Course in Miracles, that's like a must read.
I have,
Oh, you have? Okay.
but that term
Yeah,
is
it gets repeated many times, and it's
it's
as you teach, you learn. And I can share that in me showing up online, whether it be through my social media, through my YouTube channel, and now through my podcast,
mhm,
as I'm having these conversations, sometimes I think I know something, like I really know a concept, some wisdom that I'd like to share. And there are times when I say things on the spot and I didn't even know where it came from. I didn't even know I knew that. And this is when you know you're being inspired because you are aligned on the right path where you're being used as a channel.
yes,
Messages are coming through you and it is making that impact. But my job is to just show up. And
that's right.
as I show up, I know what's going to come out of my mouth is going to be for the benefit of all because I trust in me.
Yes.
Not in an egotistical kind of way where I'm like, here I am, look at me. No, it has nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
It has to do with me showing up authentically, being the Rania that I am,
Yes.
right? And allowing people to come into my world, guests like yourself and many others that have come into my world, and I'm having these deep and intense conversations with. Sometimes we prepare for a particular topic and then we go off topic and we end up talking about something else. And I know in my heart it was guided
Yes.
because I
Yeah.
can plan all I want for an episode to go a certain way, but it's not up to me. I'm here to do the work that the divine wants it to be.
Right. And I feel that you've done such an excellent job. I feel that we did a pretty good job today for the audiences to really take the best out of what we both had to say.
I'm very happy you feel that way.
Oh yeah.
I'm very pleased with our conversation and how everything unfolded. I really do. I would like to end this conversation on a note where I ask you to give a piece of advice from your personal experience for someone out there who's struggling with some diagnosis, whatever it is, and they're struggling with it because they're identifying with that diagnosis.
Yeah.
What would you tell them right now?
I would say you are not alone. You are never alone. And you already have all the tools and everything you need to move forward. You are a superhero. You may not feel like it, but you are a superhero. And if you watch any of the Marvel movies or read those Marvel comics or DC, those superheroes all have flaws. They're not perfect. I'm speaking to you. I know wherever you are, you're not alone and you're going to get through it, whatever it is. You just have to tap into your indestructible optimism. You have it. You have it inside you. But look at the silver lining. Don't focus on the negatives. Think about the story of the wolves, the two wolves. Which one are you going to feed? One wolf is darkness and despair. The other one is light and happiness. Just choose to feed the wolf that's light and happiness, and you're going to be okay.
Mm, that touched me. Thank you, Emmanuel.
Oh, you're welcome. My
Thank
pleasure.
Well, if there are any final thoughts you'd like to share before we end our conversation, the floor is
Uh,
yours.
sure. Yeah. Yeah. I just want to invite everyone to go to my website, motivatorman.com, and I think you'll share more of that information. It'll have my email address there too if you want to contact me. There are links that will give you a sneak preview. You look for the preview title, and it's kind of a gift for you guys to take a look at all the photos and my artwork, which I glad I'm remembering because my artwork from all my years of being an illustrator are going to be finally shared with the world. And there's some fun surprises there too. So even if you just see this delicious bacon and eggs
Mhm.
photo that that I posted, then it makes me happy, and it's just a joy to be on this journey.
Thank you, Emmanuel. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much, Rania.
Before you hop off the train, if something in today's ride stirred something in you, don't keep it to yourself. Share this episode with someone who needs it. Hit follow and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Want to dive deeper or have a topic you'd love us to explore? I'm all ears. Drop your questions, thoughts, or suggestions. We're in this healing journey together, and your voice matters here. Just drop a message to guest@healingtrain.ca. I am listening. And until next time, keep on healing you and keep riding with me on the healing train.